Today is Tuesday, July 6th. What to know about a tropical storm that's already left a trail of damage in the Caribbean and how it's expected to affect Florida next. Also, the biggest global ransomware attack yet. We'll tell you who was behind it and what kinds of businesses were targeted this time. Plus, a listeria outbreak prompted a major food recall. Amazon brought on a new boss. And the largest film festival in the world kicks off today with some highly anticipated new movies. Welcome to the Newsworthy. All the day's news in about 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Lacey Evans, filling in for Erica Mandy during her maternity leave. You ready? Let's do this. Today, parts of Florida are in the path of a dangerous tropical storm. Governor DeSantis declared a state of emergency in 15 counties in preparation for Tropical Storm Elsa. It's on track to hit communities along the state's western coast, from the lower Florida Keys up toward Tampa, starting early this morning. Nearly 9 people in Florida have been told to prepare for heavy rain, strong winds, and possible flash flooding. A few tornadoes could also be possible. Already over the weekend, the same storm caused damage in the Caribbean. At least one person died in St. Lucia, and 2 more died in the Dominican Republic. In Barbados, more than 1,000 homes were damaged. After the storm moves over Florida today and tomorrow, Elsa is expected to head into Georgia and the Carolinas. Then it will likely die off by Thursday afternoon. To be continued. Rescue crews are now searching through fresh rubble at the site of that condo collapse in Florida. Over the weekend, officials demolished the part of the building that was still standing, giving search and rescue crews new space to dig through. They especially wanted to get that done before Tropical Storm Elsa moved in, out of fears high winds could bring the building down in a more dangerous way that could hurt more people in the area. The mayor of Surfside is promising the crews will keep searching for 24 hours a day until everyone is pulled out of the wreckage. As of this morning, 26 people have been found dead, 117 are still missing. Rescuers are still holding out hope that someone might be found alive, although after 12 days, they admit that would be a miracle. Sadly, communities all around the U.S. are dealing with the aftermath of a violent weekend. The Gun Violence Archive says at least 150 people were killed in more than 400 shootings across the country. Over the last 3 days, at least 95 people were shot in Chicago alone. They include a 6-year-old girl and her mother, a member of the Illinois National Guard, and 2 police officers. And almost all of the suspected shooters are still on the run. Either way, Chicago's police superintendent says, quote, "We can't arrest our way out of this." He says the best way to reduce crime is to prevent it from happening in the first place. Elsewhere, a golf pro named Gene Siller was shot and killed at a country club just outside Atlanta, Georgia. Police are still looking for the suspect in that case, too. Also, 8 people were shot in Fort Worth, Texas, during an argument between a group of men. Police say most of the victims were just bystanders, though, and again, as of this morning, no suspects are in custody. Other shootings happened in places like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Ohio, and New York City. Thousands of organizations around the world were hacked in what's now being called the single biggest ransomware attack on record. It locked up business in at least 17 countries on Friday. Since then, the Russian cybercriminal group REvil has claimed responsibility and demanded $70 million to unlock all the businesses. It's unclear if anyone has paid up, though. It's the same hacking group that extorted $11 million from the meat processing company JBS over Memorial Day weekend. This time, it got into software that helps businesses manage their computer systems. The Miami-based firm Kaseya makes that software, and it says the victims of the cyber attack are mostly small businesses. They include grocery stores in Sweden and schools in New Zealand. More victims are expected to learn they were hacked today when they return to the office after the long weekend. Meanwhile, Kaseya says it has customer teams working to resolve the issues. Also, the FBI is investigating this new attack, along with the Federal Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And President Biden says the U.S. will respond if he finds out the Russian government is at all involved. Remember, just last month, Biden pressed Russian President Putin to stop giving ransomware gangs safe haven. For now, Russian government officials say they don't know anything about the hack. Stay tuned. Once again, COVID-19 cases are rising in the U.S., but not everywhere. New data from Johns Hopkins University shows new infections jumped more than 25% in 10 states over the last week. Those states include Arkansas, Missouri, and Nevada, all of which have below-average vaccination rates. But elsewhere, cases are still dropping. Again, the difference mostly comes down to where people are getting their shots. For example, Vermont leads the country in vaccinations, and it also has the lowest rate of new COVID-19 cases these days. And health officials say more than 99% of the Americans who died from COVID-19 last month weren't vaccinated. President Biden spoke about the state of the pandemic at a 4th of July celebration at the White House. He told the crowd of service members and first responders to think back to where the nation was a year ago and how far we've come, saying the country is starting to see a return to normal. Then came the huge fireworks show on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., along with thousands of other displays and festivals around the country. Much more news ahead, but first, a word about our brand new sponsor, Kiwico. Here's your main host, Erica Mandy.
I'm thrilled to tell you about our sponsor, Kiwico. Kiwico creates super cool hands-on projects for kids of all ages to make learning fun. And they're specifically designed to expose children to concepts in STEAM, as in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Each box is delivered monthly and comes with all the supplies needed for that month's projects. I've already gotten our first Kiwico crate for our newborn Dax, and I love it. Yes, even for a newborn, there are things we can do to help his little brain grow and develop during his playtime. So it's great that I don't need to do all the research myself or run to the store for all these extra supplies. I get everything we need with easy-to-follow instructions in the Kiwico crate. But it's not just for newborns. In fact, older kids love getting mail just for them. So it's a great way to get them excited to learn and provide some screen-free entertainment. And the crates are always made with high-quality materials so you can feel good about giving them to your kids. Plus, right now, the Newsworthy listeners can get your first month free on select crates at kiwico.com/newsworthy. That's Kiwico, KIWICO.com/newsworthy.
For the first time since Amazon was founded nearly 3 decades ago, there's a new CEO. Andy Jassy took over for Jeff Bezos yesterday. Before the big promotion, Jassy was in charge of Amazon Web Services, and he's been with the company for 23 years. But this leadership change at Amazon comes at an interesting time for the company. On the one hand, Amazon has had a huge year. Forbes says it is now one of the most valuable companies in the world, worth about $1.8 trillion. But Jassy will be inheriting some challenges, too. For example, the Justice Department, FTC, and Congress have been looking into whether Amazon has been monopolizing the market. Also, Amazon drivers and other workers have complained about poor working conditions. And there is an ongoing push to unionize Amazon workers. So far, it's not clear if Jassy is going to handle any of that differently than Bezos. But last week, Amazon added 2 new entries to its leadership principles. Now, along with more than a dozen other business philosophies, the list includes strive to be Earth's best employer and success and scale bring broad responsibility. By the way, Bezos won't be out of the picture entirely. He is staying on as the executive chairman of Amazon's board. Bezos will also keep running his space company, Blue Origin, as well as his nonprofits, the Bezos Earth Fund and the Day One Fund. If you have frozen chicken at home, you may need to toss it. Tyson Foods is recalling more than 8.5 million pounds of it because it could be contaminated with listeria. The recall includes frozen, cooked chicken breast strips sold at stores like Walmart and Publix nationwide, as well as hospitals, nursing facilities, and schools, and restaurants like Little Caesars and Casey's General Store. Federal regulators say contaminated chicken may be linked to a few illnesses and at least 1 death. Symptoms of a listeria infection include fever, muscle aches, and stomach issues. People with weakened immune systems and pregnant women are most at risk of getting seriously sick. To see a full list of recalled products, as well as pictures, we posted some links in today's episode notes. The NBA Finals tip-off tonight in Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns will be taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Fans of both the Suns and the Bucks have been waiting to see their teams get to the top for a while now. The Suns have never won an NBA championship before, and the Bucks haven't won the big prize since 1971, back when superstars like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson were on the team. As always, this series will come down to the best of 7. The first game begins at 9 o'clock Eastern Time tonight. The Cannes Film Festival in France is back for the first time in 2 years. It starts today and runs all week with some precautions since the COVID-19 Delta variant is still spreading quickly across Europe. Everyone coming to see the new movies has to wear masks, test negative for COVID-19, and distance themselves from other moviegoers in lines. Still, the theaters themselves will be at 100% capacity. Some of the movies premiering at Cannes include Flag Day, starring and directed by Sean Penn. There's also director Oliver Stone's latest project called JFK Revisited, Through the Looking Glass, and a musical called Annette that was picked for the opening slot. That one stars Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard. Singers Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton are now married. They tied the knot at Shelton's ranch in Oklahoma over the long weekend in front of about 40 family members and close friends. The rock star and the country star met working as judges on NBC's The Voice. The show's main host, Carson Daly, officiated the wedding. Shelton and Stefani started dating in 2015 after they both had high-profile divorces. Shelton used to be married to fellow country artist Miranda Lambert, and Stefani shares 3 children with ex-husband and Bush frontman Gavin Rossdale. And that's it for the main news today, but now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, here's Erica again to introduce our newest sponsor, Policy Genius.
As Policy Genius points out, most people need 10 times the life insurance coverage than they can get through their employer in order to properly provide for their families. But how do you know when you're getting the best deal? Policy Genius makes it easy to compare quotes from over a dozen top insurers. Remember, you pay for your life insurance policy in the form of monthly or yearly premiums. And because costs can vary from insurer to insurer, it's important to compare your options. In fact, you can save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. And you could save $1,300 or more per year on life insurance by using Policy Genius to compare policies. If you have not heard of it, Policy Genius is America's leading online insurance marketplace with a mission to help people get insurance right. The licensed experts at Policy Genius work for you, not the insurance companies. Also, Policy Genius never sells your info to other companies, and it doesn't add on extra fees. So check it out. Head to policygenius.com to get started right now. Policy Genius. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right. That's policygenius.com.
Now back to Trivia Tuesday. Since we're still feeling patriotic after the holiday weekend, today's trivia question is, when and where was the nation's very first 4th of July fireworks show? Find and follow us on Instagram at NewsworthyPod to play along and find out the answer in our Instagram stories. As for last week's trivia question, which country has the most natural lakes? The answer is Canada. Our neighbor to the north has nearly 900,000 lakes. That's more than 60% of the lakes on Earth. And by the way, just like the United States, Canada recently celebrated its national pride. July 1st was Canada Day. It marks the day Canada's 3 original provinces joined together to form one nation back in 1867. But even though it's also an independent state, Canada is still a member of the British Commonwealth. All right, thank you for turning to the Newsworthy to get your news each day. As always, we'll be back with more news tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.